What's up, Dallas Cowboy Nation? It's your boy G from Jersey with the Quest for Six podcast. Man, what a somber Monday as our Dallas Cowboys are all but eliminated from playoff contention after taking a loss last night to the Minnesota Vikings at AT&T Stadium. 34-26, Minnesota winning that football game yesterday. And nothing positive, folks. Nothing positive about yesterday. Dallas had an opportunity to move up in the NFC bracket in regards to the postseason, as several teams took losses yesterday that were ahead of them, including the Green Bay Packers took a loss yesterday. Detroit took a loss yesterday, in Carolina. So those three teams taking losses, and Dallas had an opportunity to move back ahead of Carolina, right? And then pull within a game from Detroit, and then within two games from Green Bay. But more importantly, man, they could have stayed within two games of the Philadelphia Eagles with three games left on the schedule, as Philadelphia handled their business yesterday, beating the Las Vegas Raiders rather convincingly. But, you know, it is what it is, and Dallas stunk up the joint last night, losing to Minnesota at home, man. I think what bothers me the most is that Dallas had 10 days off. They had 10 days after the Detroit Lions loss two Thursdays ago. They had 10 days off to, refocus, humble themselves, and get after it last night. And, the start was good. Scored a touchdown right away. But things went rather south. The defense, man, another lackluster performance from the Dallas Cowboys defense. And a lot of people are trying to, you know, figure this whole thing out, with Matt Eberflus and exactly what it is that Jerry Jones is trying to seek with Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. As we all know, but for those of you who do not know, um, Matt Eberflus was picked to be the DC before Brian Schottenheimer was picked to be the head coach on the Dallas Cowboys. So Matt Eberflus is, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. He was their pick to be the defensive coordinator. Coach Schottenheimer didn't have, this say in picking his own defensive coordinator. But this morning, man, I woke up and I said, I gotta look into this thing with Coach Eberflus because, you know, he was the head coach of the Chicago Bears from 2022 to about 11 to 12 games into the season last year, 2024. And I said, let me see how he fared against the NFC North as a head coach during that 2+ year span. And Coach Eberflus was 0-9 against the NFC North as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So against the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, 0-9 as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And then you look at what the Cowboys have done this year against the NFC North, man. And the Cowboys this year are 0-3-1 against the NFC North this year. Losses to the Chicago Bears, losses to the Detroit Lions, and last night losing to the Minnesota Vikings, and the tie early on this year against the Green Bay Packers. And now that puts Matt Eberflus as a HC and DC at 0-12-1 against the NFC North. Not good, folks. Not good results, man. But the defense is part of the problem, but the other part of the problem is that we don't have the talent everywhere that we think we do sometimes as fans, right? The offensive tackles are bad on the Dallas Cowboys football teams. I've been saying that for a while now. We had some positive moments from somebody like a Tyler Guyton, but far too many games are we seeing bad performances out of the offensive tackle. So offensive tackle has to be a priority in the offseason, whether that be via the draft or whether it be via free agency, trade. Offensive tackle has to be a priority. Then on the defensive side, you see that you know, we still lack the talent at the linebacker position. And I mentioned it last week, but I think that we're giving Overshown a pass because he's coming off of injury. And we said it. We said, hey, don't put too much pressure on a young man. He's coming off of a season long injury, right? A year plus recovering. But the linebackers aren't good. Then at the cornerback position, there's not much there, man. Deron Bland struggling. Chavon Ravel getting his feet wet in the NFL level, right? Kalen Carson got lost in a double move yesterday by Jordan Addison. But talent on the defensive side of football. We need to address the linebacker in the offseason. We need to address cornerback position and safety in the offseason as well. But the biggest priority this offseason needs to be figuring out the defensive coordinator, who's going to be the D coordinator. If it's going to be Matt Eberflus, we got to get better, coach, all right? Folks, I'll get back to you soon with some more breakdown of this Minnesota Vikings Dallas Cowboys football game. Go Cowboys.